This is a 1914 American Underslung. American Underslung was made in Indianapolis, Indiana from 1907 to 1914. And the significance of the car is that the chassis is actually underneath the axles and the springs are above. It's like a chassis that's been turned upside down. In the early days of automotive design, they try to be different just to make the cars sell. And it does have quite a unique look. Most cars of this period, the body would be so much higher than the fender. This has the fenders almost to the top of the body, you see, because the chassis is so low. This is the biggest and best American Underslung they ever made, and it's very luxurious. It drives like a typical 1914 car. I mean, in fact, it is quite smooth and fast. This car will probably do 65 or 70 miles an hour, which is quite fast for a 1914 car. It's a 6-cylinder, 70 horsepower T-head engine, which is unusual for a 6-cylinder. And it has a twin set of spark plugs on either side because the combustion chamber on a T-head is so wide. To get the optimum spark, they run twin spark plugs on each cylinder. So it's running a magneto and a battery ignition at the same time. This is the starter for this car. You can see the size of it and the gear reduction to make it run. This is typical of 1914 in that the instruments were put into the firewall. They didn't have dashboards till about 1916 or 17 on any American cars, because prior to having a scuttle or a cowl around your legs, they used to have flat dashboards. So this was the evolution of the flat dashboard into a scuttle. It was out of the Harrah's collection in Reno. It's one of the original cars that Harrah had in his premier part of his collection. It had a gold star restoration done by Harrah's in the 60s. This is the original paint scheme. Harrah's did extensive research on the original colors, type of leather, the type of plating. When the car was new, it was probably somewhere $3,500 to $4,000, which was very expensive. I think it's worth today on the market between $400,000 and $500,000. There's only 3 6-cylinders that survived. By 1914, because of the state of the economy and the state of the automotive manufacturing, where companies went into high production, and this was a hand-built car, American Underslung couldn't compete, so they went out of business for that reason. But it was a very high-quality sports car of the era.